It was an ordinary Thursday afternoon, the kind that drifts by quietly, wrapped in the soft hum of emails, coffee steam rising from the mug, and the occasional ping of a Slack notification. I was working from home, half-focused, sipping slowly from a chipped ceramic cup when the doorbell rang. At first, I didn't think much of it. Maybe a package. Maybe someone selling solar panels again. I opened the door casually, not ready for anything out of the ordinary. But what I found wasn't delivery. Standing on the porch were two people, my wife's co-worker, Tosha, and a man I didn't recognize. Both of them wore this strange expression, somewhere between guilt and urgency, like they'd been rehearsing what to say the whole drive over. Before I could ask anything, Tosha quietly asked, "Can we come in?" There was something in her voice that made my chest tighten. My stomach dropped, and I stepped aside, nodding wordlessly. They entered with the awkward hesitation of people who don't want to be where they are, but know they have to be. We sat down in the living room, me still confused, them still silent. Then Tosha took a breath like it physically hurt to exhale and said, "I don't know how else to say this, but you deserve to know the truth." My heartbeat picked up like a drum inside my ribs. I didn't move. I didn't speak. I just stared as she pulled out her phone and began scrolling through it with shaking fingers. What she showed me next felt like the floor cracked beneath my feet. Videos, photos, timestamp proof. There was my wife, my partner, the person I'd built my life around, not at her office, not in some late-night meeting like she claimed, but wrapped around another man at a hotel, laughing, smiling, touching him like the rest of the world didn't exist. The timestamp read yesterday. She had called me from the office phone, said she'd be working late, told me not to wait up, and yet there she was in that grainy hotel footage, acting like I didn't exist, as if the life we shared was just background noise. The man next to Tosha finally spoke. His voice was quiet but heavy. He introduced himself as Marcus, said he and Tosha had been dating for a few months. Recently, she'd started acting distant, making excuses. Something in his gut told him to follow her. He didn't want to believe what he suspected, but he couldn't shake it. So he did, and what he uncovered shook both our lives. She wasn't just cheating on him. She was cheating with my wife. I sat there, staring into space while their words blurred into a low hum. Betrayal sat heavy in my chest like a stone, sharp around the edges. I finally managed to ask them why they were telling me this. Why not just confront the cheaters and walk away? Tosha looked ashamed. "Because I couldn't live with the guilt of knowing and staying silent," she whispered. Marcus simply nodded beside her. "We're not here for revenge," he said. "You deserve to know it's real." My hands trembled as I thanked them, my voice barely above a whisper. I walked them out in a daze and closed the door behind them like I was sealing off a version of my life that no longer existed. For the next hour, I paced the living room, back and forth, over and over, trying to make sense of it. My brain begged for any loophole, any alternative explanation that didn't end in the word affair. But the images were burned into my memory, and no amount of denial could scrub them away. And then, as if the universe had a twisted sense of timing, the front door opened. She walked in. My wife strolled to the door in her typical business casual outfit, hair neat, makeup done, phone in hand. She kissed my cheek like nothing was wrong. I asked how her day was, just to hear what kind of lie she'd tell. She didn't flinch. "It was exhausting," she said, sighing. "Back-to-back meetings. I'm so drained." I looked at her and saw a stranger. I reached over, grabbed my phone, and quietly slid across the table toward her. On the screen were the photos. The hotel lobby. Her and Marcus. The timestamp. Her face when she saw them changed instantly. Her skin went pale, her jaw slightly open, like the air had been sucked out of her lungs. She tried to speak, but no sound came. Then finally, with trembling lips, she managed to stutter out, "It's not what it looks like." Even she didn't sound like she believed it. I asked how long it had been going on. She looked away, didn't answer, just silence. That was enough. I told her to leave. The begging started almost immediately. She dropped to her knees, crying, clawing at memories, said I had grown distant, said she felt alone. She blamed me. But none of it mattered anymore. The trust, whatever foundation we had, was shattered, and no apology, no explanation, no revision of the past could rebuild it. She finally grabbed her things and stormed out, slamming the door like she still had some right to be angry. The sound echoed through the house like thunder. The hours that followed were the kind that stretch endlessly. I sat on the couch staring at a blank television screen. My mind kept running through everything: vacations, our wedding, Sunday mornings spent cooking breakfast together, movie nights. All the little inside jokes. All of it suddenly poisoned. All of it now tainted by lies I didn't even know existed. I told a few close friends and family in the days that followed. Some had seen the cracks and just didn't know how to say it. Others were completely blindsided like I was. They all told me I'd done the right thing, that I was brave for cutting it off, that I didn't deserve that. But knowing you did the right thing doesn't always take the pain away. Some things you just have to feel until they stop hurting. The weeks that followed were quiet, heavy, but necessary. I started going to therapy, picked up an old sketchbook I hadn't touched in years, went for long walks just to feel the air. I blocked her on everything: phone, social, email. She tried reaching out, of course, at first soft, then angry, then desperate, but I didn't answer. Not because I wanted revenge, because I wanted peace. Looking back now, I'm grateful, truly, for Tosha and Marcus. They didn't owe me anything, but they chose to do what was right. Without them, I might have spent years living a lie, building a future with someone who didn't respect me behind closed doors. Yes, it hurt. It wrecked me. But that truth, brutal as it was also the beginning of something better. Because sometimes the truth doesn't just break you, it sets you free.